I still can't tell if you... Okay, you guys can see me. Yay! So you know what? Dave and I have had issues with our Facebook all day. It seems like they're updating something again. So I can see you. Yay! Okay, so take 2. Let me start over. So I don't know if you guys saw the project. I was showing it to you when everything froze up. So the card fold that we are doing today, that I'm doing with you, is from a photo that Lori Austin had shown with one of our events on the card fold event, and everyone wanted to know how to make this card. So this is called a pop out explosion card. This is what the front looks like. I'll show you everything that I'm using, but look how pretty all these layers are. And then when you open it up, look what happens. It's a little explosion on the inside. And then I just take these 2 corners, fold them back in. And I decided I wanted to add another project with this just for fun. So I'm also including the instructions to create this Post-it note holder. So I'm going to make 2 projects for you. And then I hope you guys will try this and load your pictures to Facebook. I loved seeing your pictures over the weekend for World Card Making Day. And I can see a lot of pictures still coming on. So I just think that's fabulous. Okay, let me show you the supplies I'm using. I'm using the Wishes and Wonder stamp set along with the North Pole Wonder dies. And I'm using this little deer and the sleigh. Oh, I can see a lot of hearts coming through. So you guys can see me okay. I'm so happy. I am also using the gold hoops embellishments. I always think of my hoop earrings when I dig these out. I just love these. And then I am using, not this stamp set, but I'm using the Stitch So Sweetly dies. And it's the largest of the scalloped rectangles dies. Okay, so I'm going to try to put these right here. I don't know how long they'll stay there. Early Espresso ink. Magenta Madness Dark. This is Mint Macaron Light. These are the blends markers. Clear Wink of Stella. And then I have 3 punches I'm using today. The 1.5 inch circle punch. The Timeless Label punch. And the Banners Pick-a-Punch. And we have lots of layers. The plaid paper that you see here is from the Plaid Tidings package. These are all 6x6. And you can see all the pretty colors. I'm going to use a different color for the one I'm making with you. I'm going to flip this over so you can see this side also. Look at all the patterns and all the colors you can play with. Whole bunch of them. Okay, so now I'm going to start out with the card. Let's see, I'm going to put, okay, these are all for the card. This is all for the inside, so I'm going to go over those later. I'm going to do the front first. And let's see, I'm just going to bring out what I need as I go. This is Misty Moonlight, 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4, and we're going to fold that. Now, because I'm using the same colored cardstock on the inside, I am putting white on the 2 panels on the inside and the front. So we need 3 Whisper White 5 1/4 by 4. I'm going to go ahead and glue those. So I can see a lot of comments here about World Card Making Day over the weekend. Wasn't that a great event? I know a lot of you guys said you had a good time, and I was so happy to hear that. I was really tired by the time it was done. And I am starting to load all of the videos on YouTube too. Okay, so those are the 2 pieces that go on the front, or on the inside. Now we're going to do the front. And the reason I'm using Misty Moonlight this time is because I'm using this sheet, which has the Misty Moonlight on the inside. If you copy this one, this is the Pretty Peacock. Now I'm going to bring in my paper trimmer, and I'm going to trim this at 3 3/4 by 5. And then we're going to use this for the Post-it note holder. And some for the inside of the card, actually. So there's our 3 layers so far. Now we're going to do the rectangle that I've already cut out. I want to go ahead and stamp the image because I need to let it dry. Only because I'm not using Memento ink this time. I'm actually using Early Espresso with this branch image. And I'm going to stamp that right in the center, and I'm going to let that dry. And then we're going to start cutting our little die cut pieces. And I do need 2 of the reindeer, so I'm going to do 2 of those right off. Hopefully I can fit them both on here. I'm using soft suede cardstock for the reindeer. For the sleigh, because I'm using the different pattern paper, this is Magenta Madness. So my sleigh is going to be Magenta Madness this time. Oh, look how pretty that is. And then we need the North Pole, the round sentiment. And we also need the special delivery. That's going to be cut out with the punch. And then I'm going to do the sentiment. This is a long one. I'm going to put it right on the edge. And I didn't cut that one ahead because I cut as close as I could because I wanted it to be skinny so that it didn't cover all of my stamped images. Now I'm going to bring in the Big Shot, so I'm going to do my die cutting. And I'm actually going to go ahead and do the punch for the sentiment because these 2 are just with the punches. And there's my circle. Okay, now we're going to do the sleigh first. And I am using my magnetic plate. So I'm going to go ahead and add that and run it through. And there's the little sleigh. And then we got to do the reindeer twice because I do have both images on each project. Okay, so there's my first reindeer. One more to go, and then I can put the Big Shot away. And the magnetic plate really works well on holding this in place. And then I'm going to tell you a couple little tips that I use with my plate. Okay, so there's number 2. Now, these magnetic plates are consumable, which means they're going to wear out after so many cuts. And they do bend a little bit. You can see here that it's curved. And what I do when I'm done with my dies, I go ahead and just curl it the other way. I just bend it. Then I put it on my platform along with a clear plate. And I keep it inside my machine so that way it's nice and flat when I put it away. And that seems to help a lot. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and color the image. Where's my card? I'm going to bring my card back in so you guys can see. And this is Mint Macaron Light. And because this is not Memento ink, I'm just quickly tapping the color on because I don't want to smudge the Early Espresso ink. And I'm actually going to have to do this again for the Post-it note. But you can see I work very quickly. I'm not blending any colors only because This is our regular ink, and I don't want it to smudge. Okay, so there's my little branch. Now I'm going to use the dark Magenta Madness for the little berries. Okay, and that's all done. Now I need my dimensionals. I'm going to go ahead and glue that in place. Actually, I'm going to add some Wink of Stella before I glue it in place. And the Wink of Stella is actually going to go over all of the leaves. Just going to add some shimmer. And sometimes when I want it to shimmer a lot, I actually go in and touch it up twice. And that's what I'm doing here. I'm going over it twice quickly. And then hopefully I can capture that. There we go. You can see how shiny that is. Now that's going to go right on the front, centered. Whoops, I didn't peel the thingies off. Do you guys end up with having some of these all over your house? I find them all over our house when I'm done with the project. Okay, there's that. Next, I'm going to glue the little ring in place if I can find it. I'm going to grab another one. It's here somewhere. Now, I knew that I wanted to cover the ring over on this side. So how I'm going to glue that in place is by adding glue dots. And I'm going to add the glue dots just on the bottom half. And I'm actually going to smush them so that they're a little thicker. So you can see when I put this down, you're not even going to see the glue dots because they're going to have layers over them. Okay, now we're going to do, the sleigh's going to go on next. I find it's easier if I add the dimensionals on the front before I do my sleigh. That way I can work around the ring. So I just added 3 there, and then I'm going to add this right here. Ooh, look how pretty that is. Next, I'm going to add the North Pole. And again, I'm going to work my way around the ring. I'm going to sneak that in there. And the deer we're just going to add with liquid glue. And he's going to go about there. So there's the 3 layers so far. Now we're going to go ahead and do the sentiment. I'm going to bring in my paper trimmer so I can trim as close as I can to the wording. So there's really no measurement for the wording. Like I said, I'm going to turn it the other way. I can't see. Let's see if I can figure this out. I'm just going to cut a strip so I can get this out of the way. And it'll be easier to work with. Now, let me go ahead and let's see how close I was. About 1/8 of an inch. Oh, that didn't work, did it? You know what? I'm going to bring in my little trimmer. I can see a lot better with my little trimmer. Okay, there's that side. And I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Make it a lot smaller. And then I'm going to bring in my little Banners Pick-a-Punch, and I did the little V-shaped one. And again, just make sure it's centered on the back before you trim it. I cut this a little crooked. I can see right now. I'm going to see if I can stamp that again. I don't like it. Remember, there's always 2 sides to a piece of cardstock. There, that's much better. Now I know that the outside of the banners are going to stick over the layers. So that's where I'm going to bring in just a little mini dimensional on each end. And I'm going to add some liquid glue in the center because that's going to be flat on the sleigh. And then we get to do the inside of the card, which is the little wow portion. Okay, so there's the card. Now let me flip this over so you guys can see the inside again. And we start out with a piece of cardstock that measures 5.5 by 5.5. I'm going to bring in my scoring tool. And we're just going to make an X in the middle. So 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. And then what you're going to do, we need 2 of the squares to fold diagonally. So remember, I have this dark permanent marker line at the 6-inch point that I use a lot when I do diagonals. I can line up the tips on the black line, and I'm going to go across this way. So again, you have a vertical, a horizontal, and then a diagonal. So I'm going to go ahead and fold on all of these score lines. Okay, now we need to decorate. So I have 4 pieces of white, and those measure 2.5 by 2.5. But because we have a fold on the 2 of the diagonal folds, we need to cut these in half. We're going to cut 2 of these in half. And then we also need to cut some designer paper. So we're going to use the piece that we had left over. And I'll show you that that measures 2 1/4 by 2 1/4. And that's exactly what this measures, that's left over. I did that on purpose, no wasting. So we need 2 of those. Whoops. And the same thing on this, we need them to be split in half so they can fit on the diagonal fold. So we're going to cut those in half. Now usually I prep all of this stuff ahead of time, but I wanted to show you guys how to cut when you decide to do yours. And you can always go back and review the video. Okay, now we're going to glue all of these things together. Let's see, we got 2. Now I'm going to stop and stamp the branch again so I can let it dry a little bit. So again, that's with Early Espresso. And I kind of stamped it diagonal. Well, this thing keeps popping in my face here. Okay, we're going to set this one aside just for a few minutes. This is the one with the sentiment, which you can choose to stamp ahead of time also. I'm going to stop and stamp that one. And that's the special delivery. I'm just going to go corner to corner a little bit higher so there's a little bit of room to sign there. Now we're going to glue all of these triangular pieces. So it's just all going to fit just like a puzzle. And just leave a little bit of white where they meet so that it'll give it enough room for folding. So this is the worst part to watch because you have all these little pieces you got to watch me glue in place. There's that one. Now we can go ahead and glue this one. I'll color it once I'm done gluing all the pieces. Isn't it just like a puzzle? You just make sure everything matches up when you glue the little triangles. And then we'll do the little post-it note to match. I just thought this would be a great gift to give a coordinating card along with a post-it note as a gift. One more. And then I'll have to show you how to glue this in place. It's very simple. Okay, quickly I'm going to color the image. And I'm using the same colors that I used on the card. The Mint Macaron and the Magenta Madness. And it looks like my video is still going. I hate that that gave out on me that first time. I wish Facebook would leave things alone when they're running correctly. I really get upset when they change things on us, especially for us that have business pages, because we have to keep up with all this. Okay, so there's how your square is going to look. It looks complicated, but it's not. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take these two corners, fold them in, and I like to take my bone folder and just smush everything as flat as I can. Okay, now this is, make sure you open it to see where your top is. You don't want your sentiment to be upside down, so I want it facing this way. I'm going to add glue to the back side first. I'm going to add a lot of glue only because you have action going on. So again, this is my bottom. I'm just going to center on my card front. And I'm going to press this in place. And I'm also going to add glue to the top. Lots of glue. And then we're just going to take the top, fold it down, and press down. Look how easy that was to glue in place. It looked really complicated, but it's really quick. And now when you open it, there you go. Look how easy. So there's the card. Let me go ahead and fold this, and we're going to do the Post-it note next. Okay, for the Post-it note, let me just go ahead and open this up. So for the Post-it note, we have 7 inches by 3.5. Oh, I need to bring it in so you guys can see it too. Now, where do you think I landed with that? Oh, I see it. Here it is. I have 2 pieces of Whisper White that measure 3.25 by 3. And then I had a little piece of leftover. This is all I have left over from that 6 by 6 piece of designer paper. I wanted to use this strip on the front. So I'm going to go ahead and glue that to one of these white pieces on the longest end. No wasting. And I'm just going to trim that little end piece. Now we need to go ahead and score our little Post-it note holder. And we're going to score at 3.25. We're going to flip and 3.25. That's it. Two score lines. Fold that. That makes your little book end. So now we can go ahead and glue this piece to the front. Oh, I need to stamp the flower. I'm one step ahead. That's okay. Where's my flower? What I'm going to do, I'm going to use one of these Post-it notes. I should have stamped the flower first. I'm going to put that right over the designer paper. And I'm going to use the Early Espresso ink one more time. Okay, I saved the day. Then we need this, and we need this, and I need to color one more time. So you actually do the branch image 3 times, on the outside of the card, on the inside of the card, and on the Post-it note. Okay, now with the little berries. And then we can go ahead and glue the little reindeer with Stamping Dimensionals. And it's going to go right on the front. Same thing with the special delivery. And I'm going to put them more towards the left because this is going to overlap on the deer. And I'll add a little bit of liquid glue on this end. And it's going to go right here. Let me see. I'm going to go down just a little bit. So there's the front. Look how quick that was. Now I'm going to flip it over and do the inside. And I always like to add the coordinating color on the inside, which would be the white. It's going to go right here. And then I'm going to add some liquid glue to the Post-it note. Oh, you guys like that. I see all the hearts. Let me see which way this opens. And that's going to go right here, even with the top. And then that's just going to fold over. So look how quickly I made a Post-it note holder. So let me bring all of the projects back in. So this was the first two. And then these are the ones that I just made. And I will pick a name. I'll let you know who the winner is tomorrow for one set of these. And let me go ahead and open this one so you can see what the inside looks like. There you go. So I hope you enjoyed my projects for today, and I hope you guys will give this a try. And I hope to see you again soon. Have a good day, everyone. Bye-bye.